Good evening, everybody. How are you? All right. Courtney Bear Atkins.
Aikens.
Aikens. I'm sorry once
That's all
again.
right. That's all
But
right.
welcome. I have a guest, special guest. Thanks, man. I'm glad you came over.
I'm glad to be
We
here.
had a good dinner and
Sure did.
so but yep, that's what you look like.
That's what I look like.
It's,
Hey, me.
that's you. So anyway, it's been a while. We were talking earlier and I haven't really had many people. You know, Neil came over.
Okay.
I'm gonna have him on again,
Oh yeah.
and I told him the same thing. Just what do you want to talk about? You know, so we were talking about a little bit about CR,
Okay.
a little bit about how that works, and a little bit
Yeah.
about the background on it and stuff. And he just kind of Neil was Neil, and
Oh
just
yeah. Oh.
I just sat back and
he kneeled it up.
Kneeled it up.
Yeah.
He
That's
kneeled
good.
it
That's
up.
good.
But yeah, so thanks for joining us tonight, Saturday. It warmed up.
It did.
Considering
It really did.
considering and pray for those people in Detroit.
My
I
goodness.
did not know. That's horrible, man.
Yeah, it's quite a tragedy, man.
And
Move your soda can, but otherwise it's good.
oh, I'm not endorsing soda, folks. It's not healthy. But yeah, man, it's been so cold. But we needed it. I think we needed
We really did.
a winter like
Yeah.
that. Because man, the summers with the bugs and
Oh,
mosquitoes,
goodness. Yes.
and we have not
Yes.
had a freeze
Yes.
in how long?
Yeah, it's been quite a while. I can't
A
even
while.
remember. Like we've had freezes, but not nothing that really lasted. You know what I mean?
No. But I could do without the ice. The snow not so.
Man.
The snow not so much. Or the ice, the snow, you can, move it over. But that ice,
Yeah.
man, that,
Yeah. I don't know if I would prefer either, but if I had to choose one over the other, it would probably be I'll take the ice over the snow.
Really?
Yeah, because the snow gets your feet wet. You know, it's really hard to say. I don't like either one.
I know.
Either one. You know.
Even if it was like we had this freezing temperature without the snow or ice,
I'll take that.
I'll take the cold,
I'll take that.
frigid cold.
Yep.
At least it'll freeze everything over.
Yep. I'll take
So,
that. Yeah.
but yeah, other than that, Super Bowl's over,
Mm-hmm.
or is it over?
Mm.
There's so much. Like you notice how many background stories. It's almost silly. Like they're blaming this and that, and they're blaming the coach. They're blaming. There's so many different. It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah, you lost.
The Chiefs.
Yeah, they
The
lost.
Eagles played.
They played
better.
better.
That's
flat out. Yeah, they came to win.
And it's like there's always some kind of it's because of this and that and the
Right.
referees and you know
Yeah.
what?
They're trying to have an excuse or
For they're at it's a game.
it's a game.
It's a game.
You win some, you lose some.
And some,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Either you prepared for this or you didn't.
didn't.
You're ready
Right.
for this or you weren't.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, man.
You lost.
So and we were talking about your company
Mm-hmm.
and you want to plug that a little bit. Go ahead and
I'll say a little something.
Sure.
My a lot of people call me Bear, so like the animal roar.
Here I'm sitting full. We're on the same height chairs.
Yeah,
So
yeah. My company's name is Bare Hands LLC. It's a handyman service business. I do everything from framing to drywall, painting, flooring, plumbing, electrical. I used to do a lot of landscaping. I shied away from that. But yeah, it's been a decade actually. It's been a decade since I started.
Really?
It's been a decade. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about it. Yeah, that's really it, man. I keep busy.
You can shout the phone number out.
Oh
if you
yeah,
have-
there is a
if you-
phone
if-
number.
A phone number.
There is a phone number. It's 314-853-1598. That's 314-853-1598. So call, text. I come out and give you a quote.
Yeah,
You know.
we were talking about electricity here.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty
maybe
reasonable,
maybe
so.
in the springtime,
Mhm.
come out and give us a quote, or and
Absolutely.
let us know how
Absolutely.
much is involved in that and
Yeah.
stuff like that too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're kind of talking about what to talk about,
Yep.
and we've been talking about it for a couple months.
It's been
A
a
couple
minute,
months. It's like,
building up
what,
to it.
what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
And then
So
at the
it's-
final minute, we
If I
don't
don't really know, because so and that's the nice thing, that guests come in. It's like, what do you want to talk about? It's it's you got the floor.
Yeah.
So what was it? Forgiveness and resentment, or we can, like you said, follow the bouncing ball, and you're it. Well, wherever you need to go.
Where do we start? Well, let's see. Let me dig into my brain here. A lot of times, I think about the choices, right? The choices I've made to get me to where I am,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard not to have regrets, right?
Yep.
Some things you would do different, right, would obviously put you in a different place. Personally, before I had a kid, I was going to try for the Rams. When the Rams were here in St. Louis.
Oh man, yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Wow, I got to go to a game.
Oh yeah.
It was a season after they won the Super Bowl.
What?
And they still had pretty much the team intact.
Yeah.
And they were playing the Panthers. First play of the game, Marshall Falk ran like a 35-yard run. I have never seen.
Yeah.
That was a well-oiled machine. They had. I said it was. I mean, Bruce and they pretty much all still there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my gosh,
Oh, man.
these guys are just. What was it, Mike Martz? Was it Mike Martz?
Was it Martz?
Was the coach? Yeah, Mike Martz.
Oh, for the Super Bowl.
I think
for the winning
when
team.
they got the Super Bowl in Warner, and then they had Bruce and Aeneas Williams.
Yeah.
Oh my! The whole team just was an amazing.
We had Orlando Pace.
Oh my gosh!
Oh
Orlando
man!
Pace.
I saw him out at a club one night. Oh man, he's a really big dude. Like, he is a really big dude. Man, we used to go to all those games. I was a Boy Scout back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And we would get tickets we would sit on the field. Yeah, we had a lot of fun back then.
Cool.
Yeah, so I was going to try for them back in the day.
So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, man.
No,
like
no.
I said, this goes
We're
so
talking.
many different. We're just talking.
Yeah, we're just talking.
Man, and the bad thing is, like, you can't go back once you've lived it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go back.
You can't erase it and try
You
again.
can't erase it and go.
Yeah.
If there's any time in your life that you would want to go back, when would it be? To do it, to do
High
something, or make a decision you should have made, or like, even if it was like a major, like for me, it probably would have been in my probably high school years. If I would have made a couple different choices.
Yeah.
But that's you can't really do. You can't say coulda, shoulda, woulda,
Yeah.
really. But at the same time, it's like, I wish I would have done this different
Hmm.
and went a different or chose a different thing or made a different choice.
I
You
agree.
know,
You know, yeah. I wish I was a little more focused back then.
yeah,
You know,
we do.
had a little more support. I didn't feel like I had any support, and that's probably a lie, right? So if my
Oh
sister,
yeah,
my mom, anybody sees this, I
they're
gotta
gonna,
take that back.
they're gonna. But no, no, I get it because it's like we're wild. We played. We were in a band, music, and we're a bunch of young high school kids playing and you know getting in enough trouble.
Oh
And
yeah, oh yeah.
but we weren't out doing like stupid stuff.
Right,
At least we
right,
had something to do.
right. You were not running the streets.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
or doing, like I said, doing stupid stuff. We had something to do.
yeah.
It was every weekend too. You know,
That's actually really
we
cool.
were playing for
That's
our
actually really
friends
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was a part. I was part of a group. We rapped. You know, sang. We did a lot of shows back in the day.
Oh,
My
wow.
mom used to think that I was always out running the streets, but no, we just hung out. We listened to music. We listened to beats. Like we made music. We did it all the time. Like all the time.
And
All the time.
we didn't have technology like they do today. We didn't sit at home and play video games all day.
Right.
We didn't have it,
Yeah.
so we had to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
You know?
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times. Man, you know what? Back in those times, what I would have done different was like focus on me more, which was crazy. I say that because I don't know, man. You had to be there, kind of. How do I say this? Um, it was just like you said, man. It was a wild time. It was a very wild time. You know, you're still trying to figure out who you are,
Right.
right? Where you going, where you want to go.
Yep.
With all these different influences. A friend of mine's mother passed away and left her a house, so we all lived in this house. Uh, I was kicked out at 15,
Oh,
so I
man.
stayed at that house.
Okay.
Right. I mean, you know, it wasn't terrible. Uh, there was no guidance, so everybody was trying to just run rampant, you know,
Doing their own
doing their own thing.
thing.
You know,
Had really no parental
none,
at all. You just
none. Right.
did what you had to do and
Yeah.
didn't think about. I didn't either because I come from a broken home.
Mhm.
I was 16, and talk about dysfunction. Nothing bad against my family or parent, or it is what it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
and it was just a weird time. Like you said, a weird feeling is not knowing where you belong.
Amen.
And I think we all, as far as men, I think we go through that. I think you- I think every guy goes through that 16 to what 18ish maybe, to where who am I? Where am I going? What am I doing? Where do I belong?
I
You
feel like
know?
it even stretches a little further than that in age because depending on how you were brought up or your circumstances,
Mhm.
uh, that figuring yourself out could drag out for years and years.
Yeah. Because I wasn't old enough to go, like I had older brother.
Hmm.
So he had his thing, and they were more able to. I didn't drive. I didn't have my license. It's just a weird time.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, what am I doing? What do
Yeah.
I need to do something. You know,
Yeah.
if that sounds,
You know, I was always doing my hands. Um, even as a Boy Scout, when we did like Pinewood Derby and stuff.
yeah.
I wasn't a master craftsman, but my my car was fast.
Yeah.
Right. So to be honest, I never saw myself starting a business. Very man, like figuring out what I want to do and where I want to go. To me personally, a very long time. Didn't graduate high school.
Mhm.
You know, kind of jumped right into fatherhood. Um, really didn't have a chance to explore myself, right? Explore this life of my own.
What you wanted to do,
Correct.
you know,
Finding my
finding your niche,
yeah
your
yeah
calling
yeah
per se, or your,
yeah.
you know.
I also came from a broken home, so like with my dad not being around, like as a kid, I was like, "What? I just want to be a good dad. I
Mhm.
just want to be a good dad." So,
I always wanted to do what they didn't do,
that's right.
and how,
That's
you know,
absolutely right.
I'm not gonna, and you have that choice.
Yeah,
You don't have to be like your parents,
that's right.
even
right.
if you're raised by them, yes, but in your, that's the difference between becoming a man and a woman, and
Mm-hmm.
you get that age
That's
where,
right.
okay, well, do I want to live how I was raised, or do I not live how you were raised, but like beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, beyond that,
Yeah.
like more, you were taught morals and respect and that stuff. But then there was, now who do I've seen stuff that how they did things, and I don't want to do, I'm not going to do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 marriages, you know,
Yeah.
later,
Yeah.
you know, thank God, my third is a charm, they say, and I go, and God eventually will bring you where you need to be.
That's
But
right.
you know, and I don't even have regret. I think that, she's agreeing
Yeah.
with me, because
Yeah.
because I have to say it's in my contract. Um, that, where was I? Because if I say to her, I'm going to really be in trouble. I can't do that, because I've been really working lately, and she still gives me a hard time. But um, I didn't want to do like my parents, and for one, I think we're too young for one thing,
Yeah.
and we were just in our earlier 20s,
Yeah.
and I'm like, we haven't lived. And they say what, between 26, or by the time you're going on almost 30, you're married, and is it, I can't remember, and you have kids by then.
Right.
Is that the number?
Right.
Usually a lot of, I don't know.
Ah,
I thought there was a certain number, and I know women try to get, you know, if they're going to have children, isn't it their early 30s?
yeah.
By the, and
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
it kind of starts,
Yeah.
because it's hard, you know, like that. And I'm thinking, okay, when I go into like a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do what they did, and it's still I know it didn't work out, but I was angry, and yes, I had regrets, but now there's no pointing fingers, and
Yeah.
there's no blaming.
Oh,
You
no.
know that on their end they might still blame.
Yeah.
That's okay. You know, I think I made I came to terms with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I guess I came to terms with it,
Yeah.
and I prayed for forgiveness, and I prayed for them to forgive me, and I guess I've let it go now. You know,
That's good.
I'm 20 years.
That's good.
You know, married a wonderful woman,
Yeah.
and I'm blessed. You
Yeah.
know, until I, you know, do something to make her mad, and then um, I I tell people, you know, I pre-apologize.
Yeah.
I say, honey,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He goes, for what? I don't know. I'm about to do something. I
Yeah.
can feel it. I'm
Yeah.
about to do
I'm gonna do
something
something.
that ticks you off.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to apologize now for it, before, because I'm due. You know, I've been on a roll lately. It's about time for me to do something to make you mad at me.
Right.
So, and I have no regrets now.
Well,
I feel like I think I have nothing but forgiveness and moving on. I don't live in the past
that's good.
anymore. And as much as it's hard to, because I think people keep that defense up
Yeah.
in later
Yeah.
relationships, because one little thing might remind them
Of the
their
past.
ex or something
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah.
But we're not their ex.
That's right. That's right.
We're human. We do
Wow.
things.
Yeah.
We do things. I mean,
right.
even if it's a little same thing, we're guy. It's just we do. Oh, I hate that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But you've had a decent amount of practice is what it sounds like.
You have no idea.
It was practice.
Practice makes better.
Practice makes perfect.
You know what I mean?
That's funny. I've never had it put that way.
Never had it put that way
before.
Just like if you train at something or you practice something over and over and over, you tend to get better. Hopefully you get better. Hopefully you learn from.
I didn't.
You know what I mean?
I thought I did.
You know what I mean?
You think you do.
But
then you go into it and say, boy, this was different before you were married, when you were dating.
Yeah.
Then when you got married, everything like seemed to change.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what happened? I don't know. It's weird. I can't quite explain.
Me neither, man. Because maybe it's the mindset. The thought in your head, like, okay, this isn't just my significant other. This is my wife. This is my partner forever. This is the other part of me. So it's the mindset. I sucked at it. This is live. I'm sorry.
No, you didn't suck. It was the we're all different. That's all it is.
What?
And and I always said, they say marriage is a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships, regardless if you're dating, you're whatever,
friends,
it's a two-way street.
Sure.
And you can't blame one another, because either you grow in the same way or you grow apart.
That's right. I dig that.
You grow apart.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the communication, and it's seeing things how the other person sees it.
Yeah.
And you have to, it's definitely both people have to come to the same meet in the middle.
Yeah.
There's no one
way better
one
than
way
the
better
other.
than the other. You gotta meet
Sure.
in the middle.
Sure.
And and then of course you're gonna want to say, well, it's their fault that this, and it's their fault that.
I did that a lot.
And you play the blame game and blaming the other person, or not taking maybe how you were, because I was in the same, like with the marriages I was in, and even dating, or you're trying to find your soulmate,
person,
right?
yeah.
You're trying to find that person.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was never in a club or a bar.
Okay.
For me, I don't know. I just never had that to go out like that and find someone that way. So maybe I didn't have the experience that I may have thought I had.
Maybe if you put it like that.
Relationships and people, maybe in general, because I was in my own mindset too.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, this is how it's supposed to be done, and this is the way it goes. Well, I could have been totally wrong and unrealistic.
Right. Well, I personally, I was never taught like certain tools like recognizing or being, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe being aware of another person, or your girlfriend or woman or wife's emotions.
Yeah.
Like understanding that. Certain tools that I think a man should have,
Right.
uh, or a father should give his son, or an uncle should tell his nephew. Things like, you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
certain tools I didn't come up with. My family, I always say anybody's family is perfect, but it's just not something that my family,
You need to call somebody.
honestly, man,
Seriously?
Turn your mic off, dude.
I'll be right back.
Crazy.
Okay.
Right
And don't forget to take your headphone off there. All right. Anyway, all right, dude. Okay. Oh man. Yeah, and Courtney will be right back. So anyway, um, yeah, it's just life. You it's so uncertain how things how
Well,
you
I
picture
was thinking
how you picture things to go, maybe. And they don't go the way you thought it would, because you picture everything, you think everything out, how it's going to be. And you know when I meet that person or whatever I do, I pre see, I forget the name of it, where you see yourself doing something, like athletes will do it before boxers will do it. They will visualize themselves catching or making a play or making a run or hitting whatever. They pre-visualize it before the game or before a boxing match or before. And so you always see things, but you got to remember there's other people aspect of it, because it's unpredictable. You don't know what anybody is going to do at any given time, or how they may turn out to be, or maybe how, once you get together or whatever, even your job, if you go into a career, anything, you picture it a certain way. Like when I went to college, I pictured it a certain way. And when I got there, oh my gosh, you know, um, it was different than I thought, you know. So um, it was different. So yeah. So I'm sure a lot of people go through it, you know. Welcome back.
I am back. Feeling great. I'm feeling great.
All right. I was
Sorry
saying
about
that like a lot of athletes and stuff, I don't know, I can't think of what you call it, but they see themselves doing something before a game.
Sure.
Like they visualize,
Prophesy.
like boxers have done it. I can't think of what it's called, but they picture themselves, making a play or
Yeah.
hitting they visualize it first before the
I
game,
tell,
and stuff like that.
I tell my son,
You
like
might
when I,
want to
back when I,
lift your mic
Hello,
up a
hello,
tad
okay.
more. There you go.
So-
It kind of got too low. There
Right.
you there you
There
are.
I am.
There you go. Okay.
I played football in high school,
Uh-huh.
and I absolutely would visualize tackles. I tell my son, visualize what you're going to see yourself, like what you see yourself doing in the game. Um, I tell, the seventh grade girls I coach basketball, visualize. Even if we're sitting there watching another game, you can imagine yourself in the position of someone else doing this, doing that. Close your eyes. Doing this. I mean,
But then you got
you're
the other,
basically manifesting.
yeah.
You know
But
what I
then
mean?
you got the other person that's unpredictable. You don't know what that other person's going to do.
But if you manifest it, it don't matter. If in your mind you brought that to life, right? It shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter. Because what you see yourself doing doesn't, like, what you are going to accomplish in that moment or that play or that whatever, it shouldn't matter what's in the way. Shouldn't matter.
Even like, what about like your job, relationships, stuff like even when I was in college, I pictured it would be different, and it wasn't. I pictured it totally different.
Sure.
Like probably me being, I was probably one of the oldest in the class. I wrote in cursive. You know, they don't teach cursive anymore. So I'm writing cursive, and even the dude next to me said something about me writing in cursive. You're writing in cursive? Well, yeah. Doesn't everybody write in cursive? Apparently not.
No, they don't.
And
They don't.
so I looked over at his notebook thing, and they're handwriting. I'm like, you know, nobody writes cursive anymore. But I think they're bringing it back. Actually,
Yeah, they are.
they're
Really?
bringing it back. Yeah, from what I
Good
I
luck.
heard some,
These kids are
you know,
lazy.
because how do you sign your name on stuff?
Right.
Is that the only cursive they teach them? Is how to write their name? Is that it? Or so? Yeah. I visualized everything that I thought how it was going to turn out, and it didn't, and I was like in a weird place
Mm. Okay.
because my expectations were different than maybe the reality of it.
Sure. I get that. I get that.
Here I'm thinking
Hey.
I'm doing the right thing.
Mhm.
Sophie.
I'm doing the right thing. I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to do it that way, and it still was jacked up. You know, it still messed. It just still wasn't right.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought, boy, I
absolutely
expected.
get that.
Boy, I thought this was going to turn out a lot different than it did.
Yeah.
You know? And that's everything.
I'm
That's
inclined to agree.
how did you see yourself when in 5 years? And they ask you, well, where do you want to be in from 10 years from now?
Right.
That's, how do you
I couldn't even.
and when you're even in what they ask you that in interviews,
Right.
how do you honestly answer, where do you want to, where you think you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? It's like life is unknown.
Yeah, it's changing every
It's
minute.
unknown.
Changing every choice. Life
Well,
changes.
in my perfect world, I'm making six figures. I've got a nice home. I got a nice car. I got a
Mhm.
kid, a wife, and the
Mhm.
whole 9 yards, or whatever I'm doing in my perfect world. But
Mhm.
that's
Woke up.
and then,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then you wake up
Yep.
and it's like, what the heck? You know,
Yep.
this did not happen how I thought it would.
I agree. Not taking back everything I said about the visualizing and making it come
Right,
true. But
right.
I do agree with that because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? Because some of the decisions or the choices I made weren't aligned with how I saw myself.
But I think your choices are based also on the situation that comes to you.
Absolutely.
And I think how you react, you react,
Absolutely.
because you can be, you can have it scripted out,
Mm-hmm.
and then something happens where you're either. I don't think I was prepared for it, is what it was, because like I said, I thought I had seen everything out how I was going to do it
Mm-hmm.
and do things, and then the next thing you know, this whole other direction hit me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, this wasn't supposed to happen. Now what do I do? How do I talk to the wife, and how do I talk to my parents, and how do I talk, how do I deal with this stuff? Because I wasn't. This is unexpected.
Mm-hmm. when I mentioned not having the tools or not being taught the tools at a young age, that's one of the things I mean. Because like you could be on top of the world at one point in life, and then next thing you know, it crumbles. But maybe you weren't taught how to adjust to the crumble, to the fall, right?
Yeah.
You know, um, I'm speaking from experience. Uh, Not knowing what to do when life is crumbling in front of your eyes, like not knowing how to keep going. Uh, Man, to be honest, not knowing to put God in front of everything, is a good way to fall and stay down. Um,
And I didn't at the time. I didn't have God
me,
and Jesus Christ in my life.
me neither.
That's when everything seemed the most chaotic and messed up
Yep, yep,
because I was visualizing on my own
yep.
and dealing with life on my
On
own.
my own.
And boy, did I screw up.
Yep,
Not screwed up. I just, like you said, if coulda, woulda, shoulda.
yep,
If I can,
yep,
if I can go back in time
yep.
and change a day where this happened or that happened, I would have done it like this now.
Mhm.
Because if I, if you knew, if you knew then what you know now,
That's right.
did I get that right? If you knew then what you know now, my gosh, I would,
Yep.
I would have. Who knows what? But that's the thing. I think, see, your life is already planned out. You don't know it because God's got you
That's right.
in every situation wherever you're going. But when you don't, my direction was,
That's the thing right
oh my
there.
gosh, I was
Yep.
all over. I think I was just all over. I didn't know what I was doing. I was in weird, a weird place,
Yep.
strange stuff
Yep.
that I never thought in a million that I would be doing or doing. you know,
I
Man,
do know. I do know.
why did I do that? What was I? Well, I wasn't thinking right either because my head wasn't in the right place.
I think I was being selfish. I think I was thinking more about me. Uh, how do I say that? I wasn't thinking either, but I felt like maybe I was. I'm gonna retract my whole statement. I wasn't thinking. Period. Like period. I wasn't thinking. I was just trying to fulfill my own need. So yeah, selfish. Yeah, yeah. You know, my own
Well,
wants, not even my own need. I was trying to fulfill my own wants. You know,
but I don't think that's a bad thing because if you know what you want, and you have your
but
maybe it's
your wants
or your or
aren't
your
always
knowledge maybe of what you think you know
okay.
maybe
Okay.
because see there's a time probably we all think we know everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's part of growing up. Our parents are dumb. We know it all. They don't, and
Right.
our parents were on us the whole time.
Yeah.
Here we thought we were being sneaky, doing what we're not supposed to do, goofing off, screwing around.
Mhm.
Well, you don't think your parents did it? We never think like that.
They did it. Yeah.
And
Might have looked a little different, but they did it.
they did
They
it.
did it. Yeah.
And then if your parents ever do tell stories of their young days, you're
That's
thinking,
right.
oh my gosh, man, you guys were,
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
we were, man, you guys were really kind of wild.
Yeah.
But that was the time of, depends on the time, like it could have been the 50s,
That's right.
the 60s.
That's right.
Look at the 60s,
Yeah.
man. Wow. What a
Yeah.
trip.
Yeah. I don't know much about that.
Yeah, I was a 70s
Okay.
kid
Mm-hmm.
growing up in the 70s.
80s baby. I'm an 80s baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
80s. Yeah, so I was born late at 66, so I missed the 60s
Okay.
pretty much,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
So yeah, I was a 70s kid. And that was a weird decade. the 70s.
Yeah.
And a lot of things were changing. Because you think probably what the 50s was post World War II. You got to
Oh, yeah.
figure at that time, most of the fathers were fighting
Yeah.
in the war.
Yeah.
So these young kids, their dads were gone. They didn't have a home, like a family unit. So I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, I say it's every once in a while here. I think that's where this country is really, I think, screwed up is we've dismantled
Oh,
the family unit.
absolutely.
Now, why
And
can't?
I don't know about the white community, but the black community definitely.
Oh, it's see, it doesn't matter
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
because back then, you the dad or whatever parent
Mm-hmm.
they worked,
Mm-hmm.
and the other parent stayed home,
That's right.
and at least until you started school,
Yeah.
you were raised at home up to that certain age or whatever when you started school. And if the other parent so wanted to, they can go into the workplace after that because but you were raised. Now you got to put your baby in daycare.
I was just gonna say.
So what's up with that? That's what I mean. A parent should be home
Mm-hmm.
to raise the child until what 5 or 6, whatever they
Sure,
start
sure,
school.
sure,
It's
sure.
when it's time to start school.
I think I agree with that. Hello.
Thanks. There you go.
I think I agree with that because, like, I wasn't. That wasn't the way I came up. So, my grandmother worked, but she didn't work as much. So we were always at my grandmother's house. My mom worked, my dad worked. So my dad, I didn't know my dad until I was a little bit older.
Mm.
Um, but my mom always worked. My mom worked 2 and 3 jobs. Like there was a time where I never saw my mom. It was always a brief moment. She was always working. We were always at grandma's house, which I wouldn't change none of that.
Right.
I experienced a lot of things, but it wasn't like that. But I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying. The kid should be at home with the mom or one of the parents. To a certain age, or you know, but that's not how I don't know above it.
No, not that the country. I'm not downing, but the country should not raise our kids.
That's right.
The government should not.
Yes,
But
that's
the
right.
government should not
That's right.
raise
I agree.
the kids.
I agree. Especially those important years.
Oh, because then don't they say between the age that's even as a child that you soak in more than you
my
do. You
goodness.
soak in
Yeah.
so much
Mhm.
between the ages of what 2 or whatever.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
you're like a sponge,
Mhm.
and you pick up so much
Oh,
between
yeah.
those ages.
Oh,
And then they say it
yeah.
affects your life
Yeah,
as you get. And now I come to think, I think that's one of the things that has been a downfall
Mhm.
is the family unit. I know divorce is going to happen, broken home things are going to happen, but in general,
Mhm.
when you have that's what parents do. That's what if you're going to have children, that's what you do. You it's
But it was a little more planned, I feel, back in the day when it came to having children. Am I wrong?
no, because actually a lot of families had 5 kids back then
Right, right.
or more, 5, 6 kids. I mean, look at I went to school, elementary school with families that had 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, now 2 is put in these times. 2 seems like it's pushing it,
Yes.
and it's like why
Yeah.
it shouldn't. And what was it? Is it Japan or China? They made a law on limiting 2. Is it 2?
Really?
That's it for population.
Really? That's
I think it
that's
was
something.
China
That's something.
or something. Nope, 2. That's it.
Wow.
If you can't, they don't want you having.
They're already populated enough. Yeah.
That's the thing. Nope. Two. I think it's two kids.
So what are they? What are they?
But
So if
what
you
if?
have-
Yeah.
Right.
What? If,
What
what?
if?
What? You got to get on your second kid. You have to get
Right.
tied.
Or are they?
Then,
out there
or the
killing
man
kids?
has to be. I don't know. I never looked into it, but I know there is a birth limit
That's
where
crazy.
it's down to like no in showers, whatever.
Wow.
Two kids. That's it. You can't have. I don't know now, but that's what I thought it was.
And I'm
You know,
okay with
they
two.
frown on.
I got a friend who has 4. And I'm like, dude, you got a Brady bunch.
And see, that was a time when you can. Back then, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But I mean, if you're wealthy, more power to you.
Sure,
You can do it.
sure.
You can do it. But in general, now there's such the middle class is almost considered low
Yes.
class now
Yes.
because of the.
Yes.
So what do you do? Well, you can't sit here and complain because I'm part of it. But at the same time, what do you do that's out of your control? Because there's so much corruption and there's so and
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it. This isn't
Sure,
this
sure,
isn't a
yeah.
political channel at
No.
all. I don't follow politics. I don't care about
Right.
politics.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh man, that's the politics to me. That's the problem. No offense, America's a great country, but man,
Yeah.
So what if it went back?
America's a good country. I won't say great.
We're freaking
Oh my
we're
God.
untouchable
Yeah, at one point.
at one point,
It's
And-
it's corrupt.
and I think it's
You know,
that's part
Yeah.
of it is people
They don't-
and history repeats itself.
That's right.
And I do definitely seeing things now. I think this is kind of a jacked up world.
Yeah.
And you're now you want to bring kids into it.
Yeah.
But see, it's not their fault. It's not the kids' fault. You should not have to think that, well, we're scared to have kids. Why? Because if you raise them like you should, raise them correctly and knowing good and bad, whatever, and
Yeah.
what not to do, and raise them, it shouldn't be an issue. And then they fall into peer pressure, as you know, as a kid.
Mhm.
I hit peer pressure.
Ooh-wee.
Oh man, because if you don't wear the right thing, or if you don't
Ooh-wee.
fit into if you don't fit
Mhm.
in to what your group or like
Mhm.
I remember what Izod
Mm.
was the
Oh, yeah.
huge a little alligator.
Oh
But
yeah.
see, we didn't. I was lucky. I was blessed enough not to have all that. We didn't care. Who cares? I don't think guys care as much. Like, I think it's not downing but I think
Ooh-wee.
girls are very. I think on a more maybe competitive level.
I'll
that
tell you
way.
this, and I agree with that.
Women, I think they're more. They,
As far
they,
as
they,
fashion
I
goes.
think women definitely eye each other up a completely different way.
So
Of course, well, because it's men. You know what I mean?
the black community was maybe like, man, you couldn't wear the wrong anything to school. You couldn't look like you had to come to school at your best at all times.
Really?
I'm telling you,
Really?
it's hard. It was hard out there. Like my family wasn't the richest or anything. Like I didn't have
Right. Yeah.
I didn't have the newest shoes or like
Me
the nicest
too.
clothes
We
or
didn't
anything
either.
like that. But like when we shopped at Walmart, and that was, you know what I'm saying? That was the lowest of the low, right? Excuse me. Yeah, man. It was it's always been a big deal in the black community. Always been a big deal. Fashion, what you're wearing, you don't have the latest this, or it's always been a big deal in the black community. It's terrible. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Okay. So
It's the way we
tell
live
me
in.
this one. I was up visiting my sister, and I was meeting her. We went to the mall, and I guess they still had a theater at the time.
Mhm.
So I was waiting for her or something. We were meeting up or something hang out, you know, and they came out of the show, and every woman had these shoes. I swear to the heel
Oh wow.
on these shoes had to be what I thought. What is up
Yeah.
with the? And they're I think every woman had a pair of those on, literally. So is that like norm? I don't think I've seen a single black woman not have these shoes. Because is
Yeah.
that the style? Is that so? Is that an example of the style? That's what you mean about.
Now,
That's what you do. That's this, and you're seen like that is how you're seen, and and that's if you don't, you're, you know, hmm, or what?
so you know, yes, I'll say yes, but I'm not a woman, so I can't. Don't hold me to that. But I know my mom would always say, "Don't leave the house looking any kind of way."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even to go to the grocery store, my mom would, she'd be nice, she'd be clean, she, like dressed, dressed. You know,
I
you,
try.
you see
but-
people at church, you see black people at church, right?
Yeah.
And there's some black people that come in their Sunday's best, right?
You see that dude? He wears the fedoras and stuff all the
So
time.
I'm telling you,
That dude, I was like, man, and it influences me, man. I'm going to start wearing my fedoras and my hats and
Mhm.
stuff, man.
And that's just
That
how the black
dude's
community
style. That
is,
is
man.
like
It's crazy.
styling them.
Yeah.
It looks sharp. It's
Yeah.
like, dude,
Yeah.
man,
I agree.
that's a lot. That is a lost, literally a lost art.
I agree.
When
I
gentlemen,
agree.
you used to wear a hat. Everyone wore a jacket and a tie and a suit back then. Look at the old movies, and
Mhm.
everyone was in a suit.
Mhm.
Or everyone had a hat, and you
Mhm.
took your hat off when you went into
Mhm.
place, and
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
was a different. Of course, it's a different time, but
Yeah.
still,
That's the way I was raised.
you're a gentleman.
Yeah.
You respected women,
Intentionally,
and
like you were intentional in being a gentleman, and being respectful. Like it was, yeah. It was a
Right.
demand for you
or
had to be that.
got backhand.
Absolutely. Quick
My mouth
in
washed
public.
out. My mouth washed out with soap.
All that,
I
yeah.
had all that. The
Yeah.
belt,
The
towel.
belt. Oh man, a switch.
We go to Six Flags every year there, and at the time, at the souvenir store, my mom would go into the souvenir store, and they used to sell those souvenir canoe paddles.
Mm.
They were yay long, and it was a canoe paddle with Six Flags on.
Mm.
Those hurt.
Ooh,
Those hurt. By the way, oh man, did it hurt? That hurt.
We used to have to go pick the switch off the tree ourselves and peel all the bark off. If the switch wasn't good enough,
They make you go.
they would go do it,
Oh,
and it'd be
pick
like
one
the
out.
thickest one.
Son of a bitch.
You talking about? Oh my goodness!
Oh crap!
Oh my goodness!
Now I'm in for it. Oh
Oh
man!
my goodness! You're crying even before you see the
See
thing
the
because
thing.
you know it. You know it's gonna happen.
See,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a lost, and it wasn't abuse.
No, it's discipline.
I was a little smart ass
Yeah,
jerk.
Yeah.
I deserved it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I learned. It didn't
Yeah.
kill me,
Oh, my
and I learned to
God.
watch my smart mouth
Yes.
and respect. And
Yes.
we never cursed. We never you know what I mean?
Right.
We weren't raised to
Right.
curse,
Yeah.
especially in front of other
Right.
people, and
Right.
even our friends' parents. We respected.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mrs.
Yeah.
Whoever. Yes, Mister.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and now I just don't know.
That's crazy, man.
That's what I
never
mean.
thought of
But we were talking about like almost like a damned if you do, damned if you
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Because we really can't. We can. I think I can kind of only blame ourselves,
Right.
really. Now
Yeah.
that I look back, I can only blame for my to be responsible for myself. You know, and I think some people make it out to be the victim.
Mm.
even way after it's over,
Mm-hmm.
they still will tell. Like I'm sure I can. They have their side of the story,
Absolutely.
and I have mine.
Absolutely.
So who's wrong and who's right?
Mhm. Perspective. It's perspective. It's your perspective versus the others. Right? Just like you said, who's wrong, who's right.
Who's right?
Right. This is the way I viewed it. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So nobody's perfect, right?
Yeah.
So don't come off as
Right.
being.
Right.
You
Don't
think
try
you're
to portray
you
yourself.
you are
Right.
perfect? Because nobody's
Right.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Two sides to everything.
it's everything. That's
Everything.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I definitely made some choices. I definitely made some choices. You know, I've always been a people pleaser.
Yep.
I've always been a people pleaser, and when I decide that I'm not going to be that, I feel like it hurts people. You know what I mean? Um, it's hard to I don't know how to express it right now. I'm not the best with expressing myself.
That's
sometimes
okay.
either, so bear with me. People don't like it when you're not pleasing them, flat out. Like I'm a giver, right? I'm a servant. I'm a
Okay.
giver. I'm a servant. Sometimes I'm just like I've started sitting back and be like, nah, I'm not gonna do that this time, right? Maybe it's my feeling, maybe it's my condemnation that I feel like maybe they're not happy with me because I decided that I'm not going to do that for them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's making sense. I hope that's making sense because it makes sense in here.
It's not like codependency. It's kind of different, isn't it?
Maybe.
Is it a kind of codependent because you're
Maybe.
worried about everyone else
Mhm.
except yourself
Mm-hmm.
and know what people might think of you
Mhm.
or what people
Mhm.
might,
Mm-hmm.
having to always be the one that cuts everybody up or makes the jokes, makes
Mhm.
everybody laugh and come across, and you tend to maybe ignore your own
Yep.
self.
Yep. Yep.
How do I feel though? Seriously, I mean, how do I feel? Right, I'm the one who's trying to make everything better for everyone else, but and it's not being. I don't think it's being selfish at all or anything. But you have to take care of yourself. And they always say that. Well, you got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of
Anybody else?
anyone else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you keep putting other people first, you tend to ignore
Ignore
yourself,
yourself.
and you don't. Yeah, I have a hard time too sometimes.
Yeah.
Really thinking, how do I explain
Yeah.
that? You know, and for me, it's pride,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's in our makeup. A little pride, but not in a
pride, yeah.
arrogant,
Right.
not in an arrogant way.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
There is two different sides of being having pride. It can be arrogant or in a positive way. You know
And that's what I try to
that.
be. I try to use it in a positive way. Even then, I feel condemnation.
But there's nothing
You know what I
wrong
mean?
with feeling proud of yourself
Sure,
too,
sure.
but not you know, right?
Yeah.
Being proud.
I need to find a different word than saying I'm proud of myself.
So
I need a different word.
I don't think it's. I'm pleased with.
You know what I mean?
I'm comfortable with myself. I don't know, but it's really. But when I get in a jam now,
Yeah.
and the way I used to react to when I react now, I am proud of myself
Absolutely.
because boy, I would open my mouth and in goes my foot. Now
Absolutely.
I give it the let go and let God.
Amen.
And I see myself in less trouble, except with the wife, But that's anyway. That's it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like if things would have happened now in my past, oh man, things I would have reacted. Oh man, if I would go back to my old ways
Yeah,
when I had
yeah.
my temper and my oh man,
I'm right there with you.
my temper.
I
Oh
am
boy,
right.
did I have a temper.
Ooh-wee.
I was I went I was going after him,
Ooh-wee.
and I didn't hold back. I got more stitches, and because I'd go haul off and try to hit somebody, and I was just a very
I wasn't a starter, but I was definitely a guy who. I'm a big guy, so I would
yeah.
I would hope that somebody would test me. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. On the one I said, boy, I would like to see you in one of
You know
those
what I mean?
situations and see the damage
Oh,
you
man.
can do.
Man, 'cause I would jump in and help friends, like I, just test me, just because I don't know, maybe I had so much built up anger that
Oh
that was
yeah,
the only way I know how to release it. That's actually why I play football, because I just wanted to hit people.
yeah,
I just wanted to hit people.
and it was a release.
Absolutely, and I
So,
was good at it, and I was praised for
but
it.
it
You
was,
know?
but it was. You weren't like you said before. You weren't out doing
No.
stupid. You had
Yeah.
an outlet.
Yeah.
Like for me
Yeah.
with the music, it was an outlet,
Yeah.
and now I realize why. Because if I think God hadn't have put that in my path or in my life, who knows where? Who knows where? I may not even be here.
That's right.
I mean, God always, and see, I didn't know that, and you don't know that at the time. And you have, like I said, I think you have your own way of how you think things should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not sure where I was going with that. I know we were talking about anger, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I think looking back, I grew thinking, how do I handle this? Now I know what I would have done, but now, oh, I know what I was going to say. Sometimes even going to work
Mm-hmm.
and thinking, please, someone say something to me. Just what? Just say something to me, and I'm gonna, I'm
Yep.
ready to,
Just
I'm
snap
ready to
off.
snap.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
ready to snap,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping, boy, I hope someone says something to me today. But see, that's I've gotten better at it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Same
know,
here.
because you can't. Like, you have to put each day behind you,
Amen.
no matter what.
Amen.
You can have a crappy day.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing go. Murphy's law. Nothing goes right. But that was yesterday.
Right. Come on.
And boy, is sometimes hard to let go
That's
though,
right.
because it's like
That's right.
then you think back, boy, if I should have said or done, I should have would have said this,
Mm-hmm.
and then you think about it way before after it's already happened,
Mm-hmm.
and you think, man, I wish I would
Mm-hmm.
have said, oh yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
but see, and then I think maybe
Yeah.
there's a reason why I didn't open my mouth, because I'm learning silence is golden.
I agree with that.
And I just had my daily devotion about that. Keeping your mouth shut, not shut, but knowing
Knowing when
when,
to speak and when not to.
when because you're in the moment and you're not thinking clearly anyway,
Yep.
because your emotions are
Emotions
going
are
through the roof, and it's like
You got it.
it's on,
You got it.
it's on now.
Yeah.
All right, you want to go there?
Yeah.
Let's go. You know,
I'm so much more aware of that in myself than I used to be, because
yeah, a couple times you've mentioned you could have.
I
But you
just
said,
know it's so hard for me to come back from red.
to stop yourself.
Yeah. So once I get red, I'm like, and I find myself getting close to red, and I'm like, wait.
Yeah. What am I?
You don't want to be angry,
And that person doesn't realize what you're going to do to them
man.
either.
Man. And sometimes I don't even know. So because once you red, it's like blackout mode, like
Yeah,
anything.
everything around
nothing
you
matters.
just kind of.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It's almost like
I don't want to be there.
It's like you lose.
Ooh.
Like, yeah. chaos. Like you go into this, this weird tunnel, like a tunnel. Like I can't even explain it, but nothing around you. You don't notice anything. You don't.
Mhm.
You are just
Mhm.
you're red eyeing that one, man, and I'm
Mhm.
coming.
Mhm.
I don't know who's around me, what's around me,
Pure
but
destruction.
I'm coming towards
got
you,
it.
and
You got it.
let's see what happens.
Oh,
We're going to
man.
see what happens in about 2
Oh.
seconds.
Oh man. I got a friend who man. Okay. I said a friend, and I guess I meant that. Um, I stopped calling him a friend because of some situations we have been in. But I allowed him to come to my wedding when I got married, and this is a guy who would make every situation about him. He had to be the highlight. He had to
The
be the
attention,
attention. Oh my
the
God!
life of the
I
party,
didn't
so
want
to
him at the
speak.
right.
Kind of life
Right.
of the, he had to be
Yeah, he had to be seen.
the big,
Yeah, that guy. And I really didn't want him at the wedding because of some things. And a friend of mine asked if she could bring him as her plus one. And I was like, feeling good, feeling good. About to get married, feeling good. Sure. And I knew in my head it's going to be a problem. Sure enough, he says something sideways to one of the bridesmaids, and just like she's running to her parents crying, and her dad's coming up to. I'm standing. I don't know. There's a few drinks going around. Her dad comes up to him, who's close to me, and he says something, and like it was about to be a fight. Like he was pissed. He was upset, and
rightly so, but you got to remember it's your wedding, though. You have to put your petty.
he
You
shouldn't have
have to
said anything to her, flat out. He should have left it alone. And instantly, I went to red because of who it was. Instantly. So my wedding turned from happy and joyous to everybody's holding me back.
Almost a rumble.
Yeah, everybody's pulling me back and trying to get him out because I won't stop going at him. Yeah,
Man, sorry.
yeah.
Sorry, man. That's
Ah, man.
It
But
takes-
that's the past. That's the past. I won't, I try to forgive. I try to forgive.
but have you ever thought how you should have, how you thought you would have handled it
That's a very
now,
good question.
now if it would have had? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, because we're in a different place, but back then you probably were in a different place. So what if I hate to, you can't really do that, but think about, okay, me then and me now.
Yeah.
How would I have handled that?
It's a very good
Thinking that I am where I am now, I probably would have laughed it off, or I probably would have said, "Dude, if you don't chill out, I'm going to have to ask you. I'm going to give you one. Just be cool." But then back then, yeah, it was on.
Yeah.
That was a different me,
Yeah. Yeah.
as a different me.
Well,
If this is how you're going to be, you need to leave,
I've
or
had,
I'm going to pound you into the ground.
I've had thoughts
I
I've had thoughts that were like, I should have hit him when I had the chance.
You know how many times? I'm glad you said
I
that.
should have hit him when I had the chance.
I'm so glad you said that too,
I'm
because
just
you
gonna
know
be
how
real.
many times I mean,
Yeah.
like this across my knuckles,
Oh yeah.
stitches, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
went to hit somebody and they moved, and I went through a plate glass window,
Oh. Yeah,
so I had
yeah.
stitches across my knuckles.
Mhm.
So then I thought, okay, maybe I need to control my temper,
Mhm.
because that's the way I was. I was like, it's on.
Mhm.
There's no talking. There's no.
Yeah.
I'm coming
Yeah.
at you, and that's it.
I've never been the best at communicating. I'll take that back. I used to be very bad at communicating. And that was my outlet. That was my get through to you, was my anger. I'm going to get through to you like this, and that's all I know. One of the tools, right? One of the tools that I wish I had as, growing up.
Exactly. Yep.
But yeah, I'm way better. Like even in traffic, I take my anger out in traffic. to myself, and then I talk myself out of it.
I still do, and I thank God.
I
Sorry,
talk
sorry,
myself out of
sorry,
it, man.
Mike. Stop.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
That it. Nope.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. Oh man.
It is what it is. You can't control what other people,
That's right.
and
Maybe
not
they're in a rush.
everybody thinks like you,
Yeah.
and the world shouldn't be like. The world's not going to be how you see it and
Yeah.
how it should be,
Yeah.
and that's just the way it. And you just have to conduct yourself and live your life how God wants you to live it.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
right on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good talk, man.
Yeah, it's a great
Thanks.
talk, man.
Great
I've
talk.
enjoyed being here.
Thank you.
By the
Man,
way,
that was
folks,
awesome.
the meal we had. Oh man.
The camera's up there.
Oh yeah. I keep looking at this.
I know.
Yeah,
It's hard now. It's
Yeah.
not
The
used to
meal was to die for.
it. Yeah, I smoked some,
Smoked some pork steaks. Oh my
brats, some
god.
chicken, chicken
my
brats.
I haven't even tried a chicken brat, but
Oh, man.
yeah, the meal was
Right
great.
on.
Thanks,
There's
thanks
dessert,
for having me. Yeah,
Bear.
my brother.
Brother Bear, thanks again, man.
Yeah.
This was
First, the
this
first
was much
of,
needed. Hopefully come back.
absolutely.
I always say like it's open.
Yeah.
Invitate just if there's something you want to, hey, I'm always up for come
Yeah.
back. Just say, hey man, I got something to bitch about, or I got something. I gotta get
I can
something.
do that.
I gotta get something off
I
my
can
chest,
definitely
man.
do that,
It's like
man,
come
yeah.
on over and
Yeah.
we'll set up and we'll vent and we'll talk about whatever
Yeah.
you need
I
to
love it.
talk about and get it off. Because I know a lot of people go through the same stuff.
That's right. That's right.
They go through the same thing. We're not,
Right.
and that's the other thing. I was the only one. So,
Right.
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 So anyway, man,
Right.
yeah, good, man. I'm glad you came. Thanks for coming
Yeah,
over,
thanks for
man.
having
This
me.
was awesome.
Thanks for
So,
having me.
yeah, tune in. I'm going to keep doing my Bible series on. I'm doing prophets of the Old Testament,
Okay.
kind of like a background of who they were and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then more topics. You like music?
Love it. Love
Okay.
it.
Okay. I started doing album reviews.
Okay.
So
I'm down for that. I don't know. I don't know everything.
me neither, because I just sometimes I hear it for the first time and then just go through because like some artists, like I did a Prince because I was
okay.
doing like movie soundtracks.
Yeah.
And like that dude. Anyway,
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
doing a song from Under the Cherry Moon. Well, it got taken down, and the Eagles too. You can't copy
You can't
even
put the music
like
on.
snippets of it. And then I was going through the talking like music,
Yeah.
not like a reaction
Yeah.
where they just, no offense, where you just make faces and how they do reaction. It's not. It's to actually talk about what's going on and what you're hearing.
Right.
So I was gonna do. I wanted to do the new Lenny Kravitz album.
Okay.
I've seen Lenny Kravitz a couple of times.
Okay.
I've seen Prince.
Okay. Yeah.
It was the Emancipation tour.
Yeah. I bet you that was.
I was ready to
one of a
quit.
kind.
I was ready to quit playing music. There's not an instrument that dude did not play on that stage and play it.
Yeah.
He is one of the best bass players I think
awesome.
I have ever heard.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then when I lived in California, me and a buddy went to his nightclub, Glam Slam.
Mhm.
It was weird.
I bet it was.
It was weird,
I
but
bet.
in but it was definitely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I can blabble. I can go on and on. But man, come. Yeah. Would you come back and we'll do?
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll do a music album review.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah,
And hopefully it
maybe,
doesn't get taken down or
right,
anything. So
right.
because, like I said, I don't own the copyrights and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
I know how weird. But on the most part, that's the only one I think I've had taken down.
Okay.
Is when I did the movie soundtracks and I did a Prince movie.
Okay. Yeah.
So-
I'm all for it.
Cool, man.
I'm all for
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, thanks. God bless. Thank you, Bear, again. And we will be seeing
Very
you
welcome.
soon.
All right.
All right. Good night.
Good night.